Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to After the Whistle. I'm your host, Ashor along with my guest, Steve Mushi. We have a jam-packed show for you today, so let's get right to it. Steve, let's talk about the NBA playoffs today. And as always, before I start, guys, if you have any questions, anything that you want to discuss with the topic that we're discussing today, please feel free to chime in. We'll look at your messages, and we'll go from there, discuss anything that you might have about the show or even about the topic we're talking about today. So let's talk about Toronto Raptors, Steve, and the Washington Wizards. It looks like, it's a pretty evenly matched series from what I'm seeing. Toronto won that first game. They do a little bit tougher. They look a little bit tougher, but in a way, they with Washington, what do you take from that series? That Toronto won. What should we expect from Washington? How are they going to come out in the second game?
So with the Raptors series, I mean, the Raptors are the number one team in the East. They're projected to come out of the East to go far into the playoffs. With John Wall coming back for the Wizards, it's kind of tough for him to get into the mix and mesh with them. Defensively is what's it's gonna take whoever's gonna win that series. And I think in a defensive standpoint, I think the Raptors are going to win that series. It could go 5 games, could go 6 games. I don't think you're going any farther than that.
Okay, I mean, Toronto was pretty much dominant in the regular season most of the time. I guess that's why they're the number one seed in that part of the division, playing the 8th seed. But I mean, we've seen upsets. I mean, I've seen upsets in. The one that I recall, and I've mentioned to you before, was in the 90s. Whoever recalls, obviously go back into 1990s. If you recall the Denver Nuggets with Dikembe Mutombo when they beat the Seattle Supersonics. And, that was one series that no one expected, to happen. It was one for the ages. And we've seen so many throughout, the years, but that one to me is like the epitome of the upsets. Do you see something like that happening, or do you see Toronto still pulling it out?
In this game, I don't see an 8th seed beating this number one seed. I mean, once again, the East is weaker than the West. So I mean, Washington creeped in. Washington creeped in. They had John Wall out for the past 6 to 8 weeks. They played together. They meshed together. They stuck together. They stuck into the playoffs and. Now they're playing the Raptors, and I don't see it going any far. I mean, the Raptors have been the team in the East to beat. I mean, I don't even see the Cavs, can be able to compete with them.
Yeah, well, that's something we're going to touch base in a little bit because, I mean, Toronto does have a pretty legitimate team going in Canada, so pretty sure they're pretty happy with what's going on there. So the next game we're going to talk about is the Boston Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks. This is a game we kind of both saw together. You were kind of surprised with Kyrie Irving not playing. The Boston Celtics kind of, put on a good show and beat Milwaukee. Even though we saw, if you guys were watching the game, it kind of went down to overtime and for us to pull a winner out of Boston. Milwaukee played a pretty good game. They brought their A game to the table there. But with Boston, unfortunately I don't want to say unfortunately. There's a lot of Boston fans out there. But you know what? At the end of the day, they seem to be the better team and clutch shots, and they put Boston in a win column in overtime. How did you see that game, Steve?
I mean, with Kyrie Irving out, Marcus Smart out, I thought Boston had no shot. Going against Giannis and the Bucks. I mean, the Bucks are a scary team. They could be a team. Now, if you ask me if the Bucks were playing the Raptors, I could see the Bucks giving the Raptors a hard time because defensively, honestly, it's hard to guard Giannis at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, Terry Rozier came out first game starting in the playoffs. He played a great game, and the Celtics are known for defense, and it's not the same defensive team last year when they were in the playoffs. And they just rode behind Isaiah Thomas, let him do what he had to do. But it all revolves on their big man. And their big man is the key, Al Horford. Al Horford can score, he can pass, he can play defense. I mean, he gets his young guys going. I mean, if you look at those starters, I mean, there's an average of maybe 22 years old on the starter with Horford on there. So do I see the Celtics winning that series? I don't think so. I think it'll go 7 games. I think that series will go 7. And I see Milwaukee winning that series. I mean,
it's a thrilling one. There's a few of them out here that I'm like, I really don't care about. But Boston Celtics versus the Milwaukee Bucks, I do find the series very interesting. Honestly, I'm that type because I do kind of want to see the Bucks win just because it's not a team that you see a lot in the playoffs, And I'm for one that likes a guy that wants to change in the scenery when it comes to the playoffs. So that being said, you know what? Like I said, I think it should be a close game. We saw the first one go into overtime. Who's to say they don't kind of tweak some things around and come back and win the next series? And let's say they win the next game. It's a whole new series. It's in Milwaukee's favor. Yeah. It's in their favor now because they go back to Milwaukee, stealing one in Boston. So we'll see what happens in that one. The seeding is Boston's rated, they're seeded 2 and Milwaukee's a 7. So it's not like they're the bottom seed, but they're 1 below. So that could be an upset in the making in itself. So again, for all you guys who are watching this game, or watching this show, we're talking about the NBA right now, the playoffs. Feel free to chime in, ask any of those questions that you have, and we'll answer them. And if we have a rebuttal with you guys, we'll call you out and say, hey, this is what we're thinking. So please feel free to message us. We're seeing all your emails and your messages on our show here. Steve, on the next topic, which is the Philadelphia 76ers, one team I like in the playoffs versus the Heat, which any team that LeBron played for, I want him out, There's something about that. It's like he leaves a legacy for teams that I can't stand. So you got the Philadelphia 76ers against the Miami Heat, okay? Philly goes in there, and the Philly takes a 1-game lead over the Miami Heat. I see Philly possibly even sweeping this.
Philly right now is the hottest team. They're Nuda right now. There's 16 games in a row.
Famous word that we always heard before.
Yes, Nuda.
Okay.
So there's 16 games in a row right now. I mean, Philly's another young team.
Okay.
They're hungry. They haven't been. I mean, how many losing seasons has Philly had? Since
it's been a while.
Since Allen Iverson.
AI. I remember AI. Absolutely. I guess Albert just joined us. Albert, Cody, thank you so much. First time watching us. Thank you for tuning in. We love you for tuning in, and please, we're glad to have you tune in with us every Monday night at 8 p.m. Central. So, Albert, thanks for joining us. That's going to be a great series. That is going to be a wonderful series.
They won that first game 130-103. They literally beat them by 27, and they had no Joel Embiid. And Joel Embiid is their core, is their big man. He's the main force that they have down low, and he sat out. He sat out today too. I think right now they're losing right now, but Philly can be a shocker.
Yeah,
Philly
can definitely be a shocker.
Can be a shocker that can. For them being one of the worst teams in the NBA to coming in and being the 3 seed?
Yeah.
They're the 3 seed now. I mean, like I said, the East isn't that strong, but Philly's got a young core.
Philly's got a very young core. Aside from Allen Iverson, they really haven't been that dominant even when they used to make the finals back in '93 when Charles Barkley played for them. So it's been a long time. Who is it? Coach Brown, wasn't it?
Larry Brown.
Larry Brown, coach. So it's been a long time, guys. Guys who follow the NBA, this has been a team that they've been in the bottom of the NBA. So this is something I like to see. Teams kind of move on.
They have their small forward, power forward bringing the ball up. He's pretty much dishing the ball out to his team. I mean, if you guys know Ben Simmons, he rarely takes any three ball shots. He's always coming down the court looking for the first thing is pass. He looks for his big man. And look, they got a veteran pickup, J.J. Redick.
Uh-huh.
Big, not a big name, but someone as a veteran that can come in and hit the 3 ball, get you your points. You know, he scored 27 points in the first game.
Absolutely. Another Albert. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his. Monterrubio. I'm so sorry, Albert. He's saying Sixers are finals bound.
I agree, Albert.
Is that what you think, Al?
I agree. Coming out of the East, I said if the 76ers had got into the playoffs, they're the team that's scary. And I would have never thought that they would coming into the playoffs with a 16-game winning streak. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like I said, they're hot, they're hungry, they're young, and that's the team to beat.
Absolutely, they are. Here's some people that joined us today. Romeo Lilu, thank you so much for tuning in. Albert, obviously. Emil Ishu, thank you so much. Velma, thank you for joining us today. Keep watching, guys. We love your support. Thank you very much for tuning in. Albert, what time do we start? We start at 8 p.m., Albert. It's about an hour, depending on what we're discussing. And if anybody else comes in live with us, depending on what they want to discuss. I mean, we have sponsors, too, that come in sometimes, so we got to like to talk about that, too. So give or take. We'd love to thank our producer because he puts in a lot of time and effort in the show. So, you know what? Albert makes a point. 76ers are hot, and you know what? NBA could use someone different. So, moving on to the next game, or the series, I want to say, which I love the outcome. If you follow me on Facebook, you saw what I posted with unfortunately, I didn't have the picture on the show with LeBron James, okay? Literally, I was counting down the minutes for me to put his face with a big slash over it, okay? So the LeBron James, the Cleveland Cavaliers, hosted the Indiana Pacers, okay? So this is a game that, again, we both saw. And, Indiana came out on fire, okay? They were up by 20 or like 15-2 or 15-6, and this is pretty much like, wow, where is this coming from? And I thought that, hey, here we have a team in LeBron James that, the first game, usually they don't come out on fire. It's usually the second game or the third game. But we saw the stat where LeBron James in the first series, what was it, like 22-0 or something like that? What was the stat? Do you remember?
LeBron hasn't lost, until yesterday, hadn't lost a first-round playoff game. He's always swept in the first round. Mm-hmm. And yesterday was the first time that he got a loss. Nobody would have thought that the Pacers would be in the playoffs. Losing Paul George in the offseason, they thought they were doomed, and they got a resurging Victor Oladipo. Oladipo came out to play yesterday. The whole Pacers came out to play. They came out, they were running. They're a nice team to watch on a running gun offense. Can the Cavaliers stay with them in the series? I mean, if it goes 7 games, you got to take the Cavaliers in 7 games. But if Cleveland wins the next 2, just say bye-bye to Indiana, because Indiana's not coming back from it. Because LeBron did what he had to do, Kevin Love started off the game cold. He ended up the game hot. If he starts off hot from the beginning of the game, the rest of the team is going to come in. I mean, Tristan Thompson, you pay him all that money, and he sat on the bench the whole season. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on. I know you just had a baby, but
yeah.
For him to sit on the bench the whole game, I mean, you pay him all that money, and you don't have a big man.
No.
I mean, you're going around Kevin Love, and Kevin Love gets in foul trouble. What happens at that point?
Absolutely. No, you're right. You're right. You know what? In a way, I look at it as the Cavaliers, unfortunately, this is where you kind of look at LeBron James and say, okay, you don't have the superstars you used to have back in the day with the Miami Heat. Even the Cleveland Cavaliers with Kyrie Irving, who I thought, when they did win it, he was the guy who kind of won it. I mean, yeah, LeBron James was did most of it, but I feel like Kyrie Irving was his shadow, even though he did the dirty work. Now let's see what LeBron James made of here. This is your year. You don't have the team like how you have a supporting cast. If you want that golden crown, if you want to be labeled the GOAT, this is your time to shine.
Well, you said it. You said it the best. I mean, Kyrie was a big part of it. I mean, who can he fall off on that? He could fall right on top of Kyrie. Kyrie can bring the ball up, do what he had to do, and score. Just like in the Jordan era. Like Pippen said it himself. Jordan was a pure scorer.
Absolutely.
Jordan's job was to come into the game and just score and buckets and score buckets and score buckets. He goes, I'm the one who brought the ball up. I'm the one who played.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So he doesn't have that in Cleveland right now. I mean, they brought in Isaiah Thomas. He's a guy who wants the ball and just goes shoot. He's not a guy who comes up the court and just passes the ball first pass. You know, he's got George Hill. I mean, George Hill's a defensive point guard. You know, so LeBron wants the ball in his hands at all times. Now, he's got a young core around him. You know, he's gonna have to trust his young core to hit, you know, open shots. You know, so if he's not going to Kevin Love, he's got to look for someone that he can trust.
Absolutely. So there's some comments on here. Let's read them. It says Albert again saying down year for Cleveland this year. So this year it's the Sixers, obviously. He also says worst team around LeBron since he was a rookie. I don't know about that. When he came into the league, they really weren't. I don't know, Albert, about that because what did he come in 2003? He came into the league.
I don't think he had a big time player on his team when his rookie season. I mean, he's got Kevin Love. He's got a young Jordan Clarkson. He's got a George Hill. You know, I mean, come on. George Hill was a starter on the Pacers. You know, was a starter on the Kings. You know, and Clarkson could have been a starter on the Lakers. You know, he started a few games, but no excuse. No excuse. No.
I agree. I mean, in 2003, I think when his rookie year, he had some bad teams back then. This is your year to shine. I mean, this is it.
He went out and got Dwayne Wade. You know, he went out and got Isaiah Thomas, whatever. You know, he ran away Kyrie Irving at this. You know, so they went out and got you who you wanted. You know, they didn't get DeAndre Jordan. He really wanted DeAndre Jordan. You know, but you're LeBron. You're the greatest player in the game right now. You know. Show it. Take over.
Which I haven't seen in game
I don't
one.
think there's anybody on the Pacers that can play defense on him. I mean, they're pesty. You know, Lance Stevenson is, tries to stay in front of him, but come on. I don't think there's anybody in the league that can stay in front of LeBron James. So, I mean, if it goes 7 games, Cleveland's win the series.
That's when the refs come in, I guess. That's I want to say,
but if it's anything under that, it's Indiana can win it.
It's true. I agree. But Indiana's got to kind of put their foot on their throat early. And finish
run
him
and
off.
gun.
Because if you don't finish him off right away, when you have a chance, you're giving life to LeBron, and you don't want that. Emil Ishu saying score and best defense ever for Jordan. I kind of agree. I mean, he played phenomenal. Listen, Emil, you're 100%. That's why, you know what?
Absolutely.
When it comes to debating, there's no, in my opinion, there's no comparison. And many guys who actually followed the NBA back in the 80s and 90s will know the difference because we saw greatness. Okay, if it wasn't for Jordan, I've said it before, the NBA was on a downfall. Okay, he saved the NBA. So, you know, and I always come back to this: why is LeBron wearing number 23? You know, that's my whole thing.
I agree with you, Emil. I mean, greatest scorer, absolutely. Michael Jordan was. When he wanted to play defense, you know, he'll put the clamps on. He'll play defense. But at the end of the day, we all knew who the defender was on the Bulls was Scottie Pippen. You put anybody on, you put Scottie on anybody, Scottie's going to lock him down. And that's the thing. He took that ease off of Jordan. You know, you know the best player on the other team, Scottie's going to take him. You know,
that is true.
Jordan, you do your job.
That is true.
You take the basketball and you score buckets.
But who had the ball when it mattered the most?
Jordan.
Michael Jordan. Now with LeBron, when it matters the most, it doesn't happen.
He doesn't have that fearlessness that Jordan has and Kobe has. Is when it comes to game time and the game's on the line, am I taking the shot or am I going to pass the ball?
Absolutely.
Jordan was like, no, I'm taking a shot. When he wanted to and he knew he had to pass the ball, he passed it. When you hit it the curve,
I 100%
open
agree.
three.
Yep.
You know, but 90% of the time, Jordan's taking that game-winning shot.
Absolutely.
You know? Can LeBron do it? Absolutely. LeBron can get to the bucket at any time. But can he shoot a jump shot and hit a game winner? No.
Steve, you know what I wonder, honestly? Is he afraid to take that last shot? Guys, it might be even this. He might be afraid to take that, you know, give me the ball in the winning moment. Confidence, but knowing that if he misses, everyone's like, see, so he doesn't want that over him.
I don't think so. He knows he's the greatest player. You know, he's always been a team player. I mean, for someone like him, I mean, he's put up good numbers. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, after Jordan, Jordan and Kobe, he is the greatest. You know, he comes in. You know, he averages over 25 points a game. You know, 10 assists. He almost averages a triple-double.
Yeah.
You know, so for a small forward, power forward, and a guy who can play the position through 1 through 5,
Absolutely.
I give him a lot of credit. But with this series, if you want to win this series, LeBron, you got to be able to run and gun with these young guys.
You have to. I mean, it's something that he's got to do, especially now. It's all the spotlights on him. A few more joiners. Anthony Long joined us. George just joined us. George Schliemann. So, George, thanks for joining us. Raymond, thank you so much for joining us. We love knowing that you guys are watching our show. Thank you so much. For the new viewers that just joined us, please, if you have any questions, if you have some comments, put them on here, put them on the page that you see right now. We'll look at it, we'll answer it, and if we have something we'll rebuttal with you, we'll discuss it. On to the next series we have is the Houston Rockets versus the Minnesota Timberwolves, okay? Now, let's just say Houston Rockets versus the Minnesota Bulls.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is.
Timber Bulls.
I mean, yeah, Timber Bulls. That's what it is. The Houston Rockets, okay, they've been the number one seed. I mean, they've been number one the whole season. So the Rockets, they have the lead of 1-0 right now. What are the Minnesota Timber Bulls? I mean, we got Thibodeau. We have like 4 players from the Chicago Bulls playing for them. Okay, what do the Timberwolves need to do to beat the Houston Rockets?
So I'll get to that in a second, but I just want to let the viewers know that Edmund last night texted me and told me it was a guaranteed to take Houston minus 11. Guys, every time Edmund gives you a bet, take the opposite. Look at this. Look at the outcome. What happened yesterday? He let me know this about 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
3 o'clock. You remember that? He was texting us. Minus 11.
Yes.
And look what happened.
I mean, Swami over here. Anything he guarantees. I mean, you've seen the picture I've had with him with a Swami outfit. We were at the Cubs game. Before the game started, he guaranteed the Cubs. This was Friday when they lost 4-0 to the Atlanta Braves. Before that, we just sat down in our seats. Okay, this is like 34 degrees. Honestly, we're thinking we're at a Bears game. Okay, and he guarantees them. And I look at my phone. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm like, guess who just texted guaranteed 7-4? I'm like, we lost. We already knew we lost. So,
but this series, Thibodeau's known for being a defensive coach, and yesterday he did some really bad decisions. And decisions was like when he brought in Derrick Rose, he had Derrick Rose guarding James Harden. Mm-hmm. I mean, Tibbs, you have one of the greatest two-way players on your team, and that's Jimmy Butler. You have to let Jimmy Butler guard James Harden all game. I mean, Harden, what, he had 45, I think? 46?
45 or 46,
46
something like that, yeah.
I mean, he had point guards guarding him. I mean, Chris Paul didn't have the game he had. I mean, this is a series that could. I mean, I'm not too sold on the Rockets. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're a jump shooting team. Okay. They're a jump shooting team, And, if they take the ball away from Chris Paul and they put the ball in Harden's hands, he's going to do one or two things. He's going to get you buckets, or he's going to sit here and drive to the hoop and throw an alley-oop to, Capella. With Chris Paul's going to get everybody else involved, and he's going to help out Harden, get Harden involved.
Yeah, that is.
But defensive-wise, I think the Timberwolves have a better defensive team, and they could win this game. They have a great big man, Karl Anthony Towns.
They do, but we've seen Tim Thibodeau overplay his players. I mean, we've seen it with the Bulls. A few more people joined us. Raymond, we will discuss soccer. That is later on in our segment, so please stay with us. We're just trying to cover all the aspects of the sports. We are going to discuss the World Cup, and we're going to discuss which teams we think are going to come out of the preliminary round. That's what I want to say, the stages from A to G. Sylvia Odishu joined us. Thank you so much for joining us, Sylvia. We appreciate that. So the last game that the series we're going to discuss is the Golden State Warriors versus the San Antonio Spurs. Here's, with San Antonio, Warriors leading the first game. They're winning it, right? They won the first game. Steph Curry-less, okay? They won it without Steph Curry. Even though they got a great team there, Spurs are a good team. For them to come out like that and beat them, they not only beat them, they beat them soundly. They beat it with what was the score, like 113-92.
I'm kind of disappointed in the Spurs. Well, not the Spurs. I'm disappointed in Kawhi Leonard. He's been cleared to come back weeks back, and your team's in the playoffs. You have a chance of beating Golden State without Steph Curry. Come on, put your pants on. Let's get on the court and play ball. Like enough is enough. This series is done with. This is going to be a sweep. There's no way in hell that the Spurs are going to take one game from these guys. You got to understand, they got Draymond, they got Durant, they still have their core from years back, a couple years back when they won the championship. When it comes to chemistry, this is the team. Don't get me wrong, chemistry is known in San Antonio, but when you're only going to revolve around your big man, LaMarcus Aldridge, LaMarcus Aldridge is not gonna beat the Golden State Warriors.
True. Plus, I feel like the Spurs really didn't realize that their players are getting up there in age. They really didn't hit their, they didn't scout farming systems.
Isn't Manu your age?
My age?
Manu Ginobili?
How old is he?
42?
Do you have to throw my year out there?
I'm just saying, he's old, right? Manu. Tony Parker.
I'm 42, but I don't look it. Everybody tells me that. Do I look 42? Okay, I'm not talking to your producer. Do I look 42? My producer likes to speak up when he knows he can throw one at me. Okay? Guys, we'll have that debate at the end of the show. I don't look 42, seriously. No, but anyway. So the last of the series, I thought we had one, but it was the Blazers or the Pelicans. Honestly, I can care less about this one.
I like this series.
I can care less. It's New Orleans, the Pelicans. They had the series lead 1-0. I mean, when I look at this team, New Orleans Pelicans, okay, I laugh every time, okay, because who were the Pelicans before? Was it the Charlotte Hornets?
The Hornets.
Okay, when I look at the NBA and I say the New Orleans Pelicans, it doesn't really strike fear in me. And I know this has nothing to do with the playoffs, guys, but seriously, the New Orleans Pelicans, okay, what the hell were these people thinking when they named this team? Okay, I seriously, I don't get it. But you know what? Apparently they're a good team.
This team is the NBA's team.
I don't know. Maybe it was Bettman from the NHL.
This is the team that came out when they had the hurricane.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's the team that Chris Paul was on that team.
Okay. So I mean, honestly, I didn't put much attention to this. I just think the Blazers, the Pelicans. I think the Blazers come on top.
Both teams are young. I mean, both teams.
It's a toss-up. It might be a toss-up.
Pelicans took a hit when they lost their big man, DeMarcus Cousins, but they still got Anthony Davis. And they got a good core around them also. Our hometown guy, Nikolai Mirotic, is there.
Uh-huh.
It's a big help for them,
Yes.
I mean, defensive-wise, I like the Pelicans, but when it comes to, you got the two guards, the point guard and shooting guard, McCollum and Lillard. It's going to be a tough series. That series is going 7.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's a toss-up. You're right. I think it goes 7. So we got some results from my age. Okay. Thanks for bringing that up.
Okay.
Here's the people that I'm sending free shirts to. Albert. Okay. Albert Khoury, Ashor Swarishu, George and Sylvia. I'm actually blocking you from this.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Guys.
50 years old and 58 years old. Are you serious, people? Put down the one. Maybe they've been playing too much bingo in that house. Relax, okay, with that. But seriously, in all aspects, like, this is a toss-up of a series. I agree with you. Go 7. I still think Portland comes on top.
Yeah, Portland should come on top. I mean, like you said, it's a toss-up in this NBA, this playoffs. Anybody can be beat. The West is tough. The West is not as easy as the East is. The West, there's tough teams. You got the Warriors out there. You got the Pelicans out there. You got the Blazers out there. So it's tough. I mean, but I say seven game series, and Portland's going to win the series.
Could be very good. All right, so let's take a quick timeout, guys. We'll be right back. This commercial scoreboard brought to you by our sponsor, J. Thomas Painting. We'll be right back with some NFL talk. G. Thomas Painting does great painting. So for all your needs, you see his number on our scoreboard. He does great drywall work too. He does free estimates, so please give him a call if there's any painting or drywall work you need. His number is 260-445-3490. So back to our talk. I want to say, Al Boogie, thank you so much for tuning in. Myron, again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for supporting our show. As always, for the ones who've joined us recently, this is an open discussion. Please, if you have anything you want to discuss with any relative sport topic that we're talking about, go ahead and put it through, and we'll look at your message and go ahead and comment on that. So on to the NFL. Okay, Des Bryant, as we found out Friday, was released by the Dallas Cowboys, okay? Now, I knew at one point this was coming, Steve, just because I knew that they were trying to save the $8 million. Plus, they have so much weapons in every other field. He's kind of lost production on his speed, his routes. In the end zone, he's not the same. The coverage is there on him. There's a whole drama going on with Des Bryant, okay? When he was cut, he apparently was told by Jerry Jones that he came out saying, I wasn't even offered a pay cut if I wanted to stay on the team. But from what we knew last year, Des Bryant said, I'm not even going to take a pay cut. I want to be signed. Now he's coming back and saying, if they offered me a pay cut, I like my team, I would have stayed. So I don't know if this is emotions talking. And he also said, you know what, he went on Twitter. Now this is Des Bryant. We know how hothead he is. We've seen it on the field, guys. He goes on Twitter saying, you know what, I know who are the people who kind of pushed me out of this team. Okay, the captain. I'm not mentioning any names, but the captain's on there. Okay, so we know who are the captains. Okay, well, you could sit there and say Dak Prescott is one of them. Okay, Jameis Witten is one. I think more it's James Witten. Okay, Witten, for some reason, I see them two button heads, and I've seen it on the field at times. Okay, where he's kind of calmed him down. So he's pushing him out. Now Dallas, look, you can't fault this team. Okay, $8 million is a lot for a receiver like Des Bryant, in my opinion.
I'd pay him that.
But the weapons they have in Dallas,
they have nothing.
Well, you still got Williams. Which
is nothing.
Hearns?
Williams is nothing. Yeah, Hearns. Alan Hearns.
Yeah, it's nothing. But you don't know who they're going after in the draft, so you don't know what they're going to do. $8 million for me is a lot for someone who catches 6 touchdowns a year.
Well, Dallas took that chance when they chose him over DeMarco Murray. And they decided, okay, you know what? The line we got, we could put any running back there, and they'll be able to play. They chose Dez to play on there. They thought it was a receiver league, so they kept Dez, and they let DeMarco Murray go, and they landed Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah,
they landed Ezekiel Elliott. They're a run first team. They're not a pass first team. And I think it was a bad idea. And you know what? Did you hear what he said?
Yeah, I mean the only team. Well, he said Dallas. You know what? I'm going to stay in a division where he's going to play them twice this year. So if you read between the lines, guys, he's going to want to win a Super Bowl. The only team I'm thinking if he's going to go with it is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yes.
They play them twice. His golden ticket to the Super Bowl is Philly right now. But do they want him? At what price tag? Then you got the New York Giants. You line up next to Odell Beckham with Eli Manning as your quarterback.
It's payday for Eli.
It's payday for Eli, absolutely. He's going to look like his golden years again. So, you got two options there. Washington, I don't see that. In Washington, I don't even know why.
Well, you never know.
Alex Smith, to me, is not a quarterback.
You never know Washington.
No.
You never know with Alex Smith there. You never know.
Absolutely not. Alex Smith is a game manager. Kansas City had a phenomenal defense. Okay? Alex Smith reminds me of Trent Dilfer with the Baltimore Ravens.
Alex Smith is one of the great. Right now, he's probably next to Russell Wilson. He's the greatest game manager. He manages the game pretty well.
Exactly, but when it comes down to it, Kirk Cousins to me had more of a drive. Alex Smith. I mean, we saw what happened in the playoffs.
Don't be surprised. Des goes to the Patriots if he doesn't stay in the division.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised under Belichick. But, to me, and I thought,
Packers.
That'd be all the Packer fans out there, John Orham, Diwa, all the Gilwaye Packer fans would be loving that right now.
He'd fit in perfect with that.
He would fit in perfectly. And yeah, Robert Thomas, Jay Painting Thomas. He would fit perfectly because you know what? Now they've got tight end, and what's his name? Graham. Jimmy Graham's tight end now. So yeah, why not? If you're going to let go of, listen, if the Packers, you're going to let go of Jordy Nelson and you don't replace him with another stud receiver, I'm sorry. You need to sign someone quick. Randall Cobb is great. Who's the other one who just...
With them?
Yes.
Devontae Adams?
Devontae Adams. Look, these two receivers are good, but they're not your prototypical ace receiver.
I don't see the Eagles taking. I don't see the Eagles taking them. The Eagles got enough weapons. They got Alshon Jeffrey. They got Aguilar. They got the tight end Ertz. They got the 2 running back. Well, no, now Blunt's gone. They got one. I don't know.
With Eagles, Blunt's more of a rentable player at this point. The NFL span of a running back literally is 4 years, 5 years. Then you're hopping team to team for a rental player. I mean, it happens in the NHL too. Eagles, you know what? Yeah, they had that one run. You don't know what's gonna. You know what? You're right. You don't know. Barring any injuries.
Would you take Des?
Des Bryant? Look, we have our own issues right now.
That'll
Tampa Bay's got enough issues on the sideline that are going to deal with.
Mike Williams' game.
Yeah, but you got Deshaun Jackson on that team. Don't forget him.
You put him in the slot.
I mean, would I love it? Are you kidding me? And they have the cash.
Yeah.
Des Bryant in Tampa Bay. Honestly, guys, I know I'm going to start hearing it from all the my haters. So anyway, let's go back on to our fans. We have Eddie Jemison who came in. Kirk Cousins had 2 years, good football, no playoff experience. Eddie, I understand that, but you got to realize something. Washington Redskins weren't really primed. They didn't have a legitimate running back like every playoff team has. Okay, who is his receivers in Washington aside from the one tight end in Reed they had, who is always consistently hurt? Who was their Washington receivers? They had nobody. What's Kirk Cousins supposed to do when you don't have your household name receiver? You can't do anything.
I mean, their best receiver, I think, was Deshaun Jackson's.
At one point, correct. And they were great at that time. But still, you have a team with no defense, no running back, okay, and no receivers. What's Kirk Cousins going to do? Nothing. So, of course, he's going to go to a team like Minnesota. Now, watch out for Minnesota.
Well, they don't have a great offensive coordinator either. Washington's just all over the place. They've never had an off. What happened?
I'm so sorry. You guys are, honestly, I love you guys. Seriously. Okay. Emil Ishii goes, this show's better than ESPN. Thank you, Emil. I'll pay you later on for commenting that. How much do I owe you for saying that? I'm just kidding. Michael Shimoon, thank you so much for joining us. David Patio, thank you for joining us also. Michael Shimoon goes, DirecTV, I'm canceling it right now. Fully subscribed here moving forward. Thank you. We love that. We love hearing that. Thank you so much.
Mike.
Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Oh, so here they are. Okay, so I appreciate that. Albert Khoury, honestly, you're winning me right now. Thank you so much, everybody, for all your support. We love it. So you know what? Des Bryant's got something to really consider now. If you're going to play if you're going to play in the same division, you want to get back at Dallas. It's really not in your hands. It's going to be up to if the Eagles want you at what price. At what price?
He's dying to stay in the division.
He's dying, but if it doesn't happen, what are you going to do? Are you going to retire?
No.
What are you going to do? You go to Tampa. You go to Tampa and win a Super Bowl and end everything. Steve, I don't want to hear it. Steve, I don't want to hear it. You go to Tampa and you win everything. Okay? Where's he going to go? Oh, I'm sorry. Did I hear rumors?
Tampa needs a quarterback.
They have a quarterback.
Oh.
Jameis Winston. Look, Tampa Bay passed up on me back in, when did I graduate? 1995.
I was saying, guys, 42 years old.
It's a tradition. What do you want me to tell you? But I don't look it. Thank you, guys. Anyway, I heard some rumors of, you know how Chicago bipolar fans are, and please don't hate me on this, guys. Seriously, I seen them as soon as Des Bryant got cut. Chicago. I mean, seriously, the guy didn't even sign his papers to be released. Chicago. What's he going to do in Chicago?
Oh, they didn't even call him to release him.
No, it was Jerry Jones. Actually, has he been released? He did.
Yeah, he's released.
He's been released. So, Ashor, Romeo, thank you so much for your support again. Michael Shimoon played for a basketball team in Iraq. Maybe you guys can talk about the brackets in Iraq. In basketball? Iraq has a basketball team? Seriously?
Yeah, Mike played international ball.
Seriously?
He played for
awesome.
Duke and he played for the national team.
Ashor, maybe we'll get you on show one day via satellite or mic'd up.
Michael.
Yes.
Michael.
Oh, Michael. I'm sorry. Michael Shimoon, right?
Sorry, guys. His age is getting up there. You know, he forgets sometimes.
Okay, let me
That's
tell you
why I'm
something.
next to him.
Cuidado, pacto.
No, I'm sorry. Guaranteed.
I agree with Mike that should go to Green Bay. Who's Mike? Steve said that, not Mike. Emil. Well, yeah, it'd be something in Green Bay. I mean, seriously, that would be a good.
Dez goes to Green Bay.
Dez goes to Green Bay. Well, already, guys, look, Emil, already what I'm thinking, to me, as long as you have Aaron Rodgers on that team, that's still the team to beat, not Minnesota, in my opinion, honestly.
Aaron Rodgers right now is upset. He's upset about something.
Yeah, Jordy Nelson is gone, okay? He's pissed off that Jordy Nelson is gone. And look, just like Dallas, Green Bay did not offer Jordy Nelson a pay cut. They just said, you're done, okay?
Bye, Felicia.
Pretty much. You know, I think that's what they stamped on his contract. Bye, Felicia. You know? And that's pathetic. And you got a guy in the end zone who was like Chris Carter from Minnesota. End zone every time when he was within 15, 20 yards. You remember Chris Carter, guys? Minnesota Vikings. All he did was catch touchdowns. Okay? So that's what something like, you know, what
Dez reminds me of T.O.
Well, yeah, do you want that
like
on your team?
I mean, T.O. was a stud.
He was a stud,
just
but
on the sideline, I didn't like him. But, you know, on the field, T.O. was the guy.
Yeah, but
I
mean, that's a guy that's like, you know, it's a cancer in the locker room. And do you want that? Green Bay is probably not going to want Des Bryant for that simple reason. They don't want that kind of player who's going to be, you know. But going back to Jordy Nelson.
If I was Jacksonville, I'd pick him up.
Yeah, hey, Jacksonville guys, you go there, you sign for 70. Look, no state tax in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll go sweep in Jacksonville if I'm not paying any taxes. Hemman, I swear to God,
you're right.
in Jacksonville. Okay, give me $40 an hour. I'll go inflate footballs, give water cups. I'm not paying taxes. So, yeah, but going back to Jordy Nelson, you know, it's a shame because, you know, that's the type of player you want to retire as a Green Bay Packer. Okay?
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm actually very disappointed in that organization because that organization always looked out after their players.
Absolutely.
Very wrong, and you upset a great quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. So what do you do at that point? You better bring in a great receiver because Randall Cobb and the other guy are not going to cut it. And if they don't make playoffs, goodbye to their coach. Yeah. And who's to say Aaron Rodgers wants to stay with that team if they don't? Now they're having a problem thinking about signing him too. So we'll see what happens with that. We'll take a quick timeout, guys. Please stay with us. We'll come back with some FIFA soccer. Okay? Raymond Pavley, I hope you're still hanging in there. We're going to discuss some World Cup soccer. Come back and join us real quick. Thank you so much for staying with us. Okay, so we, as promised, will discuss some FIFA World Cup soccer. That is coming June 14th, I believe, and it's played in Russia. So with everything that's going on politically, let's just hoping that actually still continues. So FIFA World Cup, as we all know, comes every 4 years. I'm actually kind of excited and not. My favorite team was not even in this year. Ironic, it's actually surprising and very depressing because, this is a team that's been coming to the World Cup since since my childhood. I remember watching Italy in the '82 World Cup win it against West Germany. So here's a team that didn't qualify, and I discussed this last week too. I don't know if it's a scandal. I don't know if it's just the political in Italy, if it's the coaching. It's a shame. Not having the Italy team in the World Cup is not having the Blackhawks in the playoffs, not having, I don't know, you would say the Bulls back in the 90s in the finals. It's a shocker. Okay, so it's upsetting, but it is what it is. So here are your groups. Let's look at Group A, Steve. Okay, we got Egypt, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay. From those 4 teams, obviously Russia is it's the host, so they're going to have their team on no matter what, if they qualified or not. But from those 4 teams, who do you see advancing? The 2 teams that are advanced.
I'm pretty big on Egypt. I've watched Egypt play a couple games, and they got a really good young star there by the name of Mohamed Salah. Mm-hmm. He plays for Liverpool right now, and Egypt is a team to beat. Don't snooze on them. So if Egypt gets to the Sweet 16, and you see them knocking out some good teams. So I like Egypt in that round.
And Egypt and
Russia. Russia's the home team.
Okay.
Saudi Arabia, I don't think they don't have enough firepower. Uruguay's not the same Uruguay team back in the 90s, 2000s. I think they only got Suarez, even if Suarez is playing.
Okay.
But that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I see Uruguay advancing also. In my opinion, from those 2 teams, if you're going to say Egypt, it's Egypt. But Saudi Arabia's got a good chance too. They've always been a kind of contending team. Russia, unless, we got a
pretty good team.
Russia's but you know what? Sometimes they favor the home team too. So it's a toss-up with that one. Group B, guys, we have Iran, Morocco, Portugal, and Spain. Okay, to me, that's a pretty much toss-up. Portugal and Spain.
Portugal's one of the teams I have going, pretty far in the World Cup. Mm-hmm. Spain's always been, a great team. They got an amazing defense, amazing midfield. If they can, stay in the game, I see them going pretty far as well.
Yeah, it's Morocco has been there. Iran, I can probably say forget it. I don't even know how they help. Whatever. It is what it is. But Portugal and Spain, I think they'll be the 2 teams. Group C, this is something that it's. I don't know. It could be anybody. You got Australia, Denmark, France, and then you got Peru. France, yes, and it's a toss-up between. Denmark is. I would probably say Denmark.
I'd probably say Peru.
You think?
I would go with Peru. You got to go. Like I said, I haven't seen any of those teams play. Mm-hmm. I think I've seen Peru play a couple games, friendly games, but not that much. And they've won a couple, 2-0 games, 1-0, kept it close. They got a pretty solid defense.
Okay. Yeah, that matters because if you have teams like Australia and Denmark, they're not scoring. Peru's got a legitimate shot to move up with France. Group D is going to be the gimme for Argentina. Okay. Group D, you guys have Argentina. Yeah, they got Messi, right?
So it's his final year.
He's got to prove it.
He's got to prove it. He's won every cup. He's
not won the World Cup.
He hasn't won the World Cup yet. He had a chance. The last time he was in there, lost to Germany. But this is the chance where he can, redeem himself. And they got a pretty solid team as well. So
they do have a pretty solid team.
If they don't win this division, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, I can't see them not winning it. Honestly, you got Croatia, Iceland, and Nigeria. Look, Nigeria is, from what I've known, when I've seen
Nigeria's still good.
They are they're like horse. These guys are bullets.
Stamina galore.
Granted, defensive wise, they over pursue. So if you catch them, okay, on a good ball, you're gonna score like.
They're fast.
They are fast.
They're fast.
But they over pursue too. So if you get the ball going the other way, you're going to score right away. But they are a thoroughbred, man. They can run.
And physical. Of
course, of course, they are fast. So from there, too, I do see Nigeria and probably Argentina moving on.
I have to agree with you.
Yeah. Group E is Brazil, Croatia, Switzerland, and Siberia. Siberia, Russia, around their area. So I've never seen Siberia in the World Cup in my life. But, I guess there's always that one surprise team that makes
That's going to be a great That's going to be a great group to watch. I don't know if Neymar will be ready to play.
They said he's playing.
They say
he's going to play.
I mean, Brazil is a no gimme. I mean, without Neymar, they're still a good team. But with Neymar, they could be possibly the team to go to the finals.
Yeah.
Switzerland, Costa Rica is a little toss up. Costa Rica surprised.
And I do apologize. I'm sorry. I said Croatia. Costa Rica is the team.
Costa Rica surprised a lot. The last World Cup, they beat a couple of pretty good teams. Them and Paraguay. So I like Costa Rica and Brazil in that division.
I see that. And they did say Brazil is the odds-on favorite to win the World Cup, assuming actually that was Neymar too. So, but, with Italy out, I'm the guy, there's always that second team that you kind of like, because I have family there. Plus,
Germany.
Well, yeah, but you know what? I've liked Germany since they had Klinsmann, okay, back in the 90s. They were a great team. A team that actually, I feel like when they were, whoever watches the World Cup back in the 90s, they were a team that scored with header shots all the time. They were a finesse team. Brazil was finesse with their passing skills. Chemistry is with Germany. Wow, when they're on the net, I mean, it's a goal. So you got Germany, South Korea, Mexico, and Sweden. I can't stand Mexico. I can't stand Mexico. And I will tell you why. No. Okay, we have some background issues over here. Okay, they got nothing to do with Trump. None of that. Even though I am a Trump supporter, that doesn't come close to what I'm about to talk about. Mexico eats, sleeps, breathes soccer. Okay, like soccer in Mexico.
What's wrong with that?
Listen, wait till I'm finished. Mexico. Let me get to my point before everyone starts, pointing at it. Mexico eats, breathes, sleeps soccer. They are like the Canada of hockey, okay? But they cannot ever win a World Cup, and they always lose in the second or third round. It's pretty pathetic, okay? So when I see them out there, I'm like, please, they are like the LeBron James of soccer to me. Lose. I can't stand them. There's something about them that they think the world owes them a World Cup because they play soccer. Everything dangling in Mexico is soccer. I don't care. They stink, in my opinion. Am I not right?
So you don't have them getting out of that division, I'm assuming?
No, actually I don't. I honestly don't. I think it's Germany and Sweden. I'll be honest with you.
Germany and Sweden.
Sweden is a good team.
Sweden's a good team, but without Abramovich,
but you know what? They rally around. South Korea is not even the Red Dragons. I mean, seriously, is that the team, the Red Dragons? That was the most fixed World Cup I've ever seen back in 2006 when South Korea beat Italy. Whoever recalls that. And actually, that was so rigged that the referees were banned from that league. When I'm
going to take South Korea.
Yeah. You're going to take South
Germany
Korea?
And South Korea.
Really?
Communist.
Iraq. I want you to say Iraq. Seriously. Isn't that what you said last week, Iraq? So we agree on, well, you said Germany. I agree with Germany. I was taking Sweden. You're taking South Korea. So let's see what our watchers, our viewers are saying on this. Let's bring them up. So, Martin, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, God.
Martin Yohanna is all about soccer. He does ref some games. I do see him at LA Fitness. He does a good job on the treadmill. I don't think you need to lose weight, Martin, but thanks for joining us. Albert is laughing hysterically. Albert says Germania. Germania? Is like the sister of Germany? We'll take her. Albert agrees. Germany, maybe. France, no brainer. So, look who joined us.
Mr. Ramel Mushi.
Steve, okay, everybody. Steve's dad joined us. So we'd like to welcome Ramel Mushi on the show. Yes, we did talk about Ashtar Cruise on the show, so please call that number. Rooms are getting booked. Let's keep on moving up. Let's see who else joined us. Up. You're going, or down, I'm sorry. Go down. Thank you to my producer. Emil, she agree with Michael. We saw that already. So is that it? Okay. All right, so that's good. So we're going to look at Group G. Belgium?
Belgium's my second team that I think it's that can go far.
Okay.
They got a good team. You know, they have a great defense, great midfield, and they have a couple good strikers.
Belgium is a great team. I do agree. Now there's 3 great teams out there. Okay, Belgium, England, and England.
I mean, England's a no-brainer.
England, yeah, but you know what? Last year they didn't move on, or not 4 years ago they didn't come out of that group.
Yeah.
So England didn't come out of that group 4 years ago of their group. So that was pretty sad. So they need to kind of make up ground, or they're toast again for the 4th year, or again as a second.
I'm surprised United States is not in there. Wales is not in there.
United States is not a soccer country.
I'd rather have United States than Mexico in there.
I agree. Actually, I agree. Steve, I agree with you on that. Panama's the other team is really good.
You're a Trump supporter.
I am a Trump supporter. There's nothing wrong with that. I love Trump, of course. Guys, that's our producer. If you do see him, if you hear him in the background, every now and then, you fetch a feed information to him, he gets up there. So, but Panama is another team. I agree. I think it's
you
pretty
think
good.
Panama?
Yeah, I think. I mean, it's a tough one. I think it's going to be Belgium and Panama. I don't think England does it again, in my opinion.
Oh, wow, that's huge.
England doesn't do it. And finally, the last group, guys. We're talking about Group G: Colombia, Japan, Portland, and Senegal. Poland. What did I say? Portland?
You said Portland.
Portland Trailblazers are playing FIFA World Cup, guys. I'm so sorry. So it's Colombia, Japan, Poland, okay, and Senegal. Senegal is out. I can tell you that right now.
Colombia's in.
Colombia and Poland will move on. Japan's Japan. They don't move on. They just like to make it to the World Cup and say we did a good job. That's pretty much how I see it. So Colombia, unless they score on themselves and get someone assassinated, they should move on. So there's your World Cup. If you guys have any other thoughts about that, if your groupings and what you think it's going to move on, I don't think so. I think majority of you would agree. There's a lot of no-brainers on moving on into this World Cup.
Hey, Dad, who do you think's going to win? It's a no-brainer, huh? Brazil?
Is that what it is?
I don't know. Is it Brazil? Is he still on?
Is he still on? Let's see.
Nothing yet. So we got a lot of Germany's out there.
Germany is going to be...
Poland.
Germany will be a team to reckon with, I'll be honest with you.
Martin said the World Cup sucks. There's no Italy. I agree with you,
Martin. That's my team, brother. I am telling you, that is my team. Martin.
Martin's there's nobody as a diehard fan. Italy as Martin is.
Martin, I loved Italy since 1982. Okay, so when they beat West Germany to win that third World Cup, when they won in 2006, it was a wonderful thing when they beat France because I hate Zinedine Zidane. So, Martin, Robert Thomas is waving the Germany flag.
Brazil's not going to make it.
Brazil all the way.
Oh, there he goes.
I'm going to say Mr. Mushi. I'm not a Brazil fan by any means because I feel like every other Syrian is a Brazil fan.
Everyone.
It's pretty pathetic because they always seem to choose one of the team that always wins.
I'm in Brazil.
Honestly, it's like if, let's say, who's got the most World Cups? I'm going to cheer for them. I feel like the same thing in so many sports. So who's got the most Stanley Cups? I'll go cheer for them.
Brazil's like the New York Yankees.
Yes. Who cares? Nobody cares. Italy, it saddens me because it's not going to feel like the same World Cup. It's not. Okay? When you have Tunis, whatever, you got freaking South Korea and Japan and no Italy. Come on. Seriously.
Or Portland.
Who's this? Daniel. Our producer just chimed in with his Mexican flag. Okay. I'm going to have to tell Trump to deport him because I don't think he's actually a citizen anyway. George Ewell, thank you for joining us. Steve was born in Brazil. Were you, Steve? I got to look at your birth certificate there.
I didn't know Swedish Covenant was in Brazil.
Huh?
Swedish Covenant Hospital? I didn't know it was in Brazil.
Do they have a family hospital? Is it based there?
Maybe there was a flag somewhere around there. Yeah. He thought it was in Brazil. But.
No, he's sad like me. Martin, we're very sad. Raymond Pavley, he's a big Italy fan. We both agree.
Yeah, World Cup's not going to be the same.
It's not going to be the same. I'm sorry. It's not. Robert Thomas puts on, what is that? What kind of flag is that? Saudi Arabia. Look, Robert, put down whatever you're smoking, buddy. Come on. Zaya Constantine, thank you so much for joining us. Anyway, guys, we're going to go on and discuss some Cubs really quick, and we'll close the segment off. The MLB, okay, we got the Chicago Cubs. Their game was postponed versus the Cardinals. So before I touch base on this really quick, I want to add to what the MLB should start doing, because this is getting out of hand. April is too early for baseball, okay? At least for these colder climates. And Steve, chime in as soon as I'm done with this and let me know what you think. April is way too early for baseball, okay? Because, to me, this is almost like a record of postponed games in literally like not even a month. It's like 3 weeks, okay? If you're going to go about and play games in April, then schedule these teams that are in the colder climates, either play teams that are in the South in Miami or play teams that are in a dome, okay? Because if you're not going to sit there and say, it's not fair because they've been gone for too long when you had the Atlanta Braves play 3 teams before they came home. Then you might have games, that are more controllable. Rather than teams, now we have 4 games or 3 games that are postponed. Now you got to play these games back to back. How's that fair for the Chicago Cubs? Okay, you're going to have a tired team. They're going to lose. What if they lose these teams? They're going to lose them in the rankings then? They're going to sit there and drop. It's not fair for them. It's not right. Either cut the team, either play them mid-April or towards the end of May, or beginning of May, or have them travel. It's a little pathetic that you have teams that are being postponed.
I think they're doing double headers.
Yeah, but Steve, double headers as a team is not right either. Okay? Because a team that's not playing a doubleheader has got a better chance to beat the team that's playing a doubleheader and move up in standings. That's not fair. This is common sense. You're still gonna, even if you're playing them away, you still have a better chance of beating the other team rather than coming here and playing at 34-degree weather. Nobody likes that. Now the players don't like that. We heard John Madden say right after the onslaught with the Cubs won, 14-10. He said,
John Madden?
What did I say?
John Madden football.
Joe Madden. I apologize. Joe Madden. Guys, I'm on like 90 miles per hour right now, okay?
You are.
Honestly, and I actually had a half a cup of coffee. I'm on 90 miles per hour. But you guys are loving the show, so that's all that matters.
Joe Madden was upset.
Joe Madden, even though they won, it's like, aside from winning the game, okay, this is ridiculous, okay? Now they got to make up games back to back. Who wants to do that? You better hope your players aren't taxed.
Cubs have their own stadium in Arizona. You can make up games in their
absolutely,
stadium in Arizona. You can't, probably can't fill it up as much as you would do in a regular game, but or we can make a deal with the Milwaukee Brewers, because they're in closed dome as well.
Absolutely. Well, that's what I'm saying. Have them travel. Those colder games, have them travel before the schedule comes out. Have them travel to other teams and have them come home. Either that or, hey, if you're going to think about it, because we were at a game, guys, seriously, there's like 12,000 fans. It's ridiculous. Then open up the gates and make the tickets for free to walk in. Then you got your money made on liquor. You got your money made on souvenirs and everything else. Because the team did do that. I think it was Atlanta Braves opened up the doors.
It was cold on
it was cold.
Thursday, Friday we went.
Guys, seriously. And aside, there's a joke. This guy was coming around with hot chocolate. Passed by us 4 or 5 times. We're like, what hot chocolate? It's freezing. It's like regular. It's like cold chocolate now. So it saddens me. But anyway, the game was postponed again today against the Cardinals, which is a great matchup. It's one of those prime games that you want. It's an arch rival for the Chicago Cubs, and we're not going to see it today, and they're going to have to make that up.
Baseball's more of like if your team's hot, you're going to continue to play the next game. Your team still stays hot, but now the Cubs haven't played in 2 games.
No,
so they haven't been they haven't
absolutely
played anybody in 2 games. They're going to come out rusty, and then when they're not hitting, all Cub fans are like, "Oh, Cubs are not hitting."
No.
So I agree with you, Ash. I think they should travel and play in a warm climate. But then again, you got to understand if they're going to travel and they're going to make up these games, they got to, 1, make sure that team is not playing in their stadium, and 2, it's not going to conflict with their upcoming schedule.
Well, yeah, but Steve, my point was before the schedule comes out, Chicago teams like Chicago, any cold climate team, have them play away for the first few weeks and then come home. Because they already did that with Atlanta.
Did you know last year this time in Chicago was 83 degrees? So it's like it's
a hit or miss. Yeah, it is a hit or miss, I guess. Yeah. But anyway, on to the Saturday's game. Guys, this game was out of epic proportions, okay? A game that they were losing 10-2, again, in honestly, like a blizzard conditions. And it's like watching, football weather. And they, all of a sudden, at the 8th inning, their bats woke up. I mean, I saw a comeback I haven't seen since, I want to say 2007, when the Cubs were under Lou Piniella. 9 runs scored in the bottom of the 8th. And then to tie the game, and at that point, Atlanta was in shock. And then they brought in the relief pitcher who walked, three men?
3 men in a row.
3 men in a row to score. Finally, the game ended at 14-10. That's great to see because, that's something you know that, okay, the bats are there, but the inconsistency is not. You got a game that, they're losing 4-0, but you got a game that they're scoring 14 runs. They need to balance that. Yeah, Rizzo's out.
On the bright side, he got activated today.
He did get activated. I did see that. So he did get activated. So that's good to see. Hopefully when he goes to Cincinnati, he doesn't sleep on that bed where he hurt his back. But, we'll look forward to the next game. If tomorrow they play, who's to say? I mean, this whole week's supposed to be bad. Anyway, guys, that kind of wraps it up for us this week. Comments. Oh, comments. So we have, thank you again for coming on to our show. Hermes, a great friend of mine. Hermes is Eli's brother, Paul who owns Dendana.
Okay.
That's his brother, Hermes. Hermes, thank you so much. I really appreciate you tuning in our show. Albert Rommel was the best soccer player for the Wing Bowl. He was great.
Martin.
Where?
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. Then he puts thumbs up. Okay. What are you smoking? George is laughing hysterically out there. Ninos, thank you so much again for joining us. Ninos was supposed to join us today, but just some just scheduling issues on the side we had. He couldn't join us, but he'll try to join us next week. Ninos, thank you so much for joining us. Always a great supporter of the show. I really appreciate it. Hello to you, Ninos. Let's see what else we have.
Ignore Daniel.
Daniel is like a virus in our system. He comes on, move to Arizona, and become a Diamondbacks fan. He knows what the Diamondbacks are? Seriously? Ninos Malki in the house. Hi, Albert. Now it's a talk between the fans over here. Hello, Brother Ramel. Oh, Bashar is Bashar joined us. Thanks, Bashar, for joining. He is my brother-in-law. And who else do we have here? Thanks, fellas. Keep up the great work. See you all next week. Thank you, Michael. Ninos, let's see. Ninos, I love your show. So Ramel is talking about Nino's show on our show. We love that too. So thank you so much. Thank you, Aziza Ramel. Okay, love your show, Brother Ash. Ninos, thank you so much. Guys,
these guys go all the way back.
They do go all the way back. Guys, thank you again for joining us today. Tune in next week as we cover sports again, and we'll touch base more on what's going on around the leagues. I'd like to thank my producer, Daniel, again, so much for all his hard work. Robert, again. Thanks for my sponsors out there, Ninos Malki, for actually always helping out with the show. I put up the ad for the cruise. So, Ninos, thank you so much for your support and sponsorship. I'd like to thank also J. Thomas Painting for the sponsorship that he's brought to us. My guest, Steve Mushi, as always, thank you so much for joining us on our show. Again, tune in to us next week on After the Whistle. Good night, everybody.